Merchant Growth, which is a lender to small companies, is out with its 2025 Canadian Small Business Resilience Report. And it indicates that about three-quarters of small enterprises in this country feel they've been abandoned by the government. Well, why do they feel like that? Let's get more from Joe Cote. He is Chief Growth Officer at Merchant Growth. Joe, thank you very much indeed for joining us. That sounds pretty alarming. Small businesses feel they aren't getting enough support from the government, and they're beset by removal of the de minimis customs exemption, tariffs. So a lot of challenges right now for small companies.
There certainly is. 74% of those small businesses are citing inflation as their top challenge. 50% are pointing to weak consumer spending, and 38% are saying there's just a serious lack of government support at the moment.
The one interesting thing that you do touch on in the report is the effort among Canadians to actually buy from local small businesses. And it sounds like a lot of us are doing that, but there are barriers.
There really are. So some of the highlights, which are quite exciting, is 99% of Canadians said that they bought from a Canadian small business in the past year. 56% said they're buying even more than previous years. Their top motivations being to help strengthen the Canadian economy, protecting Canadian jobs, and reacting to U.S. tariffs. Yet, prices remain the biggest barriers. 56% of Canadians are saying that, and especially for Gen Z, saying 73% are citing cost as a big barrier for them, as compared to 37% with boomers. And other barriers, which also include product availability and lack of store locations in their local communities. And the major takeaway there is Canadians want to shop local, but affordability continues to be a big roadblock.
It is interesting, isn't it? I got to admit, I'm kind of lazy. I'm not going to get on my bike and go around store to store because I don't know if they'll have it in. I'll just order online in many cases.
It's a real challenge. We certainly are advocating for Canadians to go the literal and figurative extra mile to support Canadian businesses. And what we really love about the survey and the response that we got is understanding the motivations from Canadians, as well as understanding what's really happening with Canadian small businesses. And those Canadian business owners, over half of them are saying tariffs have raised their costs of goods. Others are reporting lower consumer demand, lost revenues, supply chain disruptions, and even canceled or paused purchase orders. They're getting the real big squeeze, and we're really advocating for Canadian business or Canadian consumers to go shop local. They need it. They need you more now than ever before.
You've been looking at the personal impact on small business owners. A good chunk of them found they had to, I guess, lose focus on their business and go back to working full time for someone else.
Isn't that shocking? So 12% of Canadian business owners said that they returned to a full-time job in addition to continuing to manage their own business. 87% of them have reported having made personal sacrifices just to keep their businesses afloat. Almost 70% have reduced or eliminated their own salary. 55% have delayed major life plans, such as buying their own home or even retiring. And almost a quarter of them have had to actually sell assets to keep afloat.
But just over half said they feel they are resilient, and they're more resilient now. I guess that's an optimistic note.
It certainly is. I mean, we know, and this is why we called it the Resilience Report, we know small businesses face, generally speaking, a lot more obstacles, and they don't have the same purchasing power to be able to maneuver, in certain times, as we're seeing both over the course of the last 12 months, as also additional threats of additional tariffs around the corner. So it's really nice to see that 55% of business owners are saying we feel more resilient today than ever before because of what they're having to endure. But they're making big personal trade-offs and saying that it's making them stronger in the long run. Yet we know that we need to really continue to support small businesses, not just to stay afloat, but to support Canadian hiring. Small businesses employ the most Canadians, and it is critical to our economy in a full circle of both Canadian consumers as well as business owners who can employ those local Canadians in each of your respective communities.
I guess I guess there's the argument that generally, or often, when you buy from a small business, a lot of the money does tend to stay in the community, if the entrepreneur is local anyway.
It most certainly does. And, it's nice to see a lot of local community, small businesses thriving. And the environments are just dramatically different when you know the business owner, when you can support and see them grow, when they hire locals from the community. It's great to be a part of that, as much as it is to see them grow and thrive and to be able to grow not only just cross-provincial borders, but also internationally to hopefully expand a little bit more, whether it's hopefully Europe as well as Asia as net new opportunities for a lot of small businesses that are looking to diversify from sales into the US.
Your business offers financing for small businesses. You say you try to make the process as painless and smooth as possible. Are you seeing any change, though, in the requests for financing? Are you seeing companies expressing desperation in some cases to get funding?
I would say it's less about the desperation. It is certainly we're seeing a lot of inquiries with regards to how to best position themselves. Small businesses in particular, they're asking for financing and they have a pulse on the trigger as to what's happening every single day. They're telling you what's happening with purchase orders. They're coming to us and saying there's an opportunity to either purchase from an inventory standpoint, open new supply chains, expand in certain markets. And this is where we're seeing a lot of very focused use of capital to be able to continue to be resilient, but as well as look for opportunities to grow in the environment when they're faced with such challenges.
Thank you very much, Joe. Really appreciate it. Joe Cote is Chief Growth Officer at Merchant Growth.